pumpkin picker. Get the pumpkin picker.
Oh, hey guys. Troy W. Hudson, the voiceover with personality. Welcome to February, where anything can happen and most likely will. Short month, crazy stuff going on. Just 10 minutes ago, I was hooking up the cable to make this thing work. It's been a crazy week. If you joined me last week, oh, wait, have I done the welcome? Yeah, I did the welcome. Lots of show prep goes into this. Anyway, thank you and welcome to the live. This is where I kind of ramble and share a little bit about my voiceover journey, and just kind of bring you into this crazy thing called the VO Weekly Stew, and give you some insight into what it's like to be a voice actor in 2021. And it's a wild, crazy adventure. It really is. Seriously, I've had a wonderful week. Man, these past 2 weeks have just been good. Had no Campbell's soup, but it's been good. So good. Can't tell you all about it, but it's been good, let me tell you. And it's not all been work-related, so yeah, we'll get into that later. Anyway, the thing about the cable being hooked up just before going live, if you were with me last week, I had made mention, or even 2 weeks ago, I had done a fun boxing, I believe it was, and opened up and unveiled a brand new computer, the small but extremely attractive and powerful gray, sleek Mac Mini 2018, not the M1 model. Thank you very much. I'm looking for compatibility, not the latest, greatest toy. So anyway, so there I was. I had the Mac Mini. I finally took it out of the box last weekend because I was kind of heavily booked, and you don't want to throw that wrench in there when things are running smooth, when deadlines are looming, when you have projects. So you have to time it carefully. So the weekend was upon me, and so I unboxed it officially and began to hook up cables. And of course, I discovered that I didn't have all the connections that I needed because the new computer came with new connections, Thunderbolt 3. I didn't have Thunderbolt 3 compatible devices, had to buy some cable adapters from Apple to make them go from Thunderbolt to Thunderbolt 3. They talk well together. It was humming along fine. And then I did the official moving your stuff. If you're Mac people, you know what I'm talking about. If you ever had more than one computer, you know what I'm talking about. Moving the stuff by Migration Assistant from, this signifies what? This signifies the old system, and it had to migrate across to the new system. So you got ahead of me, didn't you? So that took about, I think it was about 6 hours or so. I had a lot of stuff. Thankfully, most of it moved over. Actually, I want to say it's probably the smoothest migration of data from one computer to another that I've experienced thus far, and I've done a lot of those kind of things, and this was probably the smoothest by far. I saw that it was running Catalina, I guess it was the one operating system back. I'm not completely sure. Anyway, it was the one, not the current one, which is Big Sur. Don't you love the way they name those operating systems? They went through this series, Apple did, of calling them cats. You know, they had Panther, Tiger, Morris. I can't remember all the names of the cats. But then they went into the mountain ranges, the mountains and all these different spots. And then I think it actually places in California is what it is, because they're based in California. And Big Sur, anyway, is the latest one. And so, so that's the latest operating system. And whenever you're running the latest operating system with your stuff, especially when you have a bread and butter machine that's making you money and paying the bills, you have to be a bit wary of what you're doing. Sometimes developers don't all, hey, Hannah, you made it. Glad to see you. Got off work just in time for the stew. Good to see you. Hey, thank you, Brandon. Appreciate it. I got a shout out to you, sir, in just a minute because you inspired me to do something, and I'm going to share that in just a few minutes. So anyway, so the Mac Mini migrated everything over okay this past weekend. But lo and behold, there's little things called software plugins, if you're familiar with them, if you do audio production. There's things called software licenses, which you're probably familiar with if you do anything on a computer. And so that wasn't as smooth a process because throughout the course of the week, I got hung up on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, and actually got hung up a few minutes ago. But I would hit a snag. I'd go into my recording program and I'd start to run an effects stack, which is basically just a series of different effects in Adobe Audition that I run after I record and get everything sounding the same. So when I send it out, it sounds cleaned up and it goes out the door or out on the internet to whoever. Siri on my phone is thinking I want to do something, so I need to turn her off. Stop that, Siri. Really? I'm in control. You're not. I don't want to get Alexa started. Anyway, the software plugins were not triggering. They were like, it was taking out chunks and bits and pieces randomly of my audio recording, which is a nightmare, obviously. And so I was like, I don't know what to do. So I went in and it said software license not authorized for this computer. So I had to go into each particular plugin. I had to update the database, so it saw it, which meant I had to cancel the licenses on the older iMac that's actually still running. I smartly kept that hooked up because I've had to turn it on and deactivate licenses on various things. If you're familiar with Source Connect, it's a means of connecting that professional studios do with voice actors around the world. And it's really high quality audio if you've got a good connection, which I do. But I looked on the new Mac Mini in the dock and I said, Source Connect's not working. It's not connecting right. And I thought, I must have to go deactivate. Well, it was a painful experience. It was not working right. And I figured, I need to put something up on a voiceover tech site and put it out there. And bless her heart, Lauren Good came through with the most excellent answer, the only answer, which was open up iLock Manager, which is basically just a way to turn that off and on or activate and deactivate a license in Source Connect. I'm sure it works for other things too. But iLock Manager was the key. I forgot it was even on the computer because it was like I set it up, one and done. Let me just, I don't have to deal with it anymore. She said, go to that, switch it over. It worked fine. I moved to the other machine. Boom, it worked. I even got a tech support call from Source Connect because I put in a message to them. And they responded. This nice Australian lady called me. That's not how they talk, is it? No, it's not. That's British. That's British, isn't it? How do they talk? She talk like this. No, I don't know. Don't ever get me to do an Australian woman's character voice because she's ain't going to happen. So it was several days of just that migration, and it was a headache, but at the same time, the pluses are this thing is smoking hot. It boots up incredibly fast. The iMac before had an i5 processor. This one has an i7 processor, and there is a world of difference. And beyond that faster processor, it has the same amount of RAM, but it is a newer computer. It just runs better. And it has a solid-state hard drive inside. And what that means is it just goes so much faster when it's booting up. It's flame-throwing, hot rockin'. Used to be a station I worked at. Q98. So, how you doing, darling? Good to see you here. Okay, so anyway, I get distracted easily. Where was I at? Hot rockin', flame throwing, really fast computer. That's what I was thinking of. And so I launched After Effects, which is a RAM and processor hog, if you know anything about video production, because I had a video to do in addition to doing a voiceover for a client. And I needed to see if it worked okay. I downloaded the latest, greatest versions from the Adobe Cloud, the Creative Cloud, Audition, Photoshop, After Effects. So I was in After Effects. I was scrubbing through this timeline and doing some pre-rendering to RAM, and this thing was just so fast. I sat back and I was just like, I just had this stupid look on my face. It's like, huh. Yeah, I probably made out an audible huh, because it was so incredibly faster than the previous machine. I've had Fast Macs before, but some of the stuff I was doing in After Effects would have bogged those down. I was deep several layers with pre-comps. Anyway, just lots of stuff. It's really, really nice to have that faster Mac in there. And right now, it's hosting this live. So, hey, how's it look? How's it working? I think it's working fine. So, yeah, talking about the Mac Mini. So I got the audio plugin licenses done. I got the Source Connect thing fixed. I got all the licenses, the plugins. I'm 99% sure everything's working right. I haven't tried every single app. So yeah, I launched the program I use to do the live stream, which is called Ecamm Live. Yes, sir. The Mac Mini. The Mac Mini that dude right there, he's a little older than he is in that picture, but Dane Scott was gracious enough to sell me back the last day of 2020, as a matter of fact. So we cut a deal, did the deal right there, said, show me the Mac. He showed me the Mac Mini, and it works like a champ. So thank you, Dane. Very, very, very thankful for it. It is smoking, not literally, but it's pretty cool. It's not really cool. It's warm, but Dane put these little feet on the bottom of it. And if you're not careful, it kind of walks across. No, it doesn't do that. But it is an amazing machine, and it's so nice to just boot up in, how I want to say, less than a minute, 45 seconds or so. When the older iMac, I would be sitting here and I would just get up and leave. Take a road trip. Wasn't quite that bad, but it was around 10 to 15 minutes just to boot up. Well, I'm happy too, Dane. We're all happy. I know you're happy because Dane got the monster Mac Pro Tower, the beast. So yeah, he's in a whole nother league. But he had this little old mini sitting there. Seriously, I mean, if I had it out here, it'd be like this. It'd be like a big burger, not even like a double, probably like a single with cheese and the works. Oh, Gary has a question. Thank you, Gary. Gary has a question I probably won't be able to answer, but I'm going to read it to you anyway. I thought minis didn't have a GPU. What are you using for After Effects? What am I using for After Effects? Well, I'm using the Mac Mini for After Effects. Gary, I'm not sure what you're referring to. It has let me just look and see what it has. I'll look at the About This Mac. And if I can move that out of the way, it's running Mac Big Sur. It is version 11.2. It is the 3.2 gigahertz 6-core. 6-core Intel Core i7. The Intel, not the M1. 32 gigs of RAM. 2667 megahertz DDRM. Is that right? No, let me get my glasses. I'm going to tell you as much as I can possibly figure out. DDR4. And the graphics is the Intel UHD graphics 1536 megabytes. And I'm not going to tell you the serial number, but yeah, I just know it's a standalone computer. The only thing with a Mini is it doesn't come with a monitor, and Oh, Gary's follow-up. He didn't know that it had that, but yes, it does. Yeah. So, yeah, glad to help. It's scary when you get asked tech questions live and you're like, I just use the stuff. I don't know how to look under the hood. I don't know what's under there. What's that shiny thing? I don't know. If you need a character voice for an idiot. With a heart of gold. Anyway, So yeah, the Mini is just, it's an incredible computer. It is standalone, and it's so small. Like I said, it's about the size of a single with cheese with all the works on it. If you were like spread your hands out like that, a double probably not quite, but it's got multiple ports in it. More so than the, I want to say more so than the iMac. So I've got that running as the beast, as the motor of this operation, and then I've got a Thunderbolt 2 port that is going into, because the Mac Mini 2018 version does not have any Thunderbolt or Thunderbolt 2 ports. It only has Thunderbolt 3/USB-C, I think I've got that right. And it has Ethernet, and oh, it's so fun doing this live. Oh, so Gary says, my wife says I do a great idiot, but I don't think she means voice. Thank you, Gary. He'll be here all week, folks. Not really. So the Mac Mini, well, it's so, looking at the comments, it's more fun to just look and respond to the comments, to be honest, with anything I've got on my notes. But I'll finish these anyway just to stay on track, because I have one little small project, and then I want to share something that Brandon, I haven't forgot about you, Brandon, McCaskill, didn't suggest I do, but he asked a question earlier, and I'm going to get to that, about the gear that I actually use. I'm going to show you a screen in Amazon where I created a list, because I've had numerous comments about, hey, what do you use? I'm going to answer that during this live toward the tail end of things. Or you can watch it on the replay, and thank you if you are. So finishing up the thing about the Mac Mini. I think I can finish this up. Okay. So see, Brandon says Mac Mini is the size of McDonald's Big Mac. Not a big McDonald's fan. Actually, not doing much of fast food of any kind these days, and feeling better than ever. As a matter of fact, look at the skin color. Look at the fleck. Look at the tone. Can you see the difference? Can you see? Can you see? I've cut out all process. I'm done with the Mac Mini. It's really fast. It's really cool. It does awesome work. Okay, transition to taking care of yourself, which I was going to inject. Let me just go to the calendar real quick and show you some of the stuff. I think I got this set up right there. It worked right. Okay, so this was my production calendar over the past week, and this is me in the corner. Hey. So Monday, Tuesday started out a little light, but whoa, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, some of this I won't even be able to get to, and oh, that's the live, and then I think you can see it, yeah, Saturday, boom, 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 and there's more stuff beyond that. So yeah, it's ramped up crazy. I think people have come out of the holiday, I don't know it's not a slump, but definitely a difference in the volume of business. And now it's just like somebody sent out a memo to everybody that I'm working with or wants to work with me. And it's not just me, but it's amazing how it's like somebody turned that lock and opened the gate, and it got crazy. So if you look at if you're seeing, I'm not sure if the mouse is on the screen or not. Is it on the screen? I think it is. I think it is. Is it? I don't know. Anyway, so if the stuff in green is Fiverr-related projects, the stuff in orange is non-Fiverr-related stuff, working with agencies, working direct with clients in the red. So the oranges and the purple is Upwork, a little bit here, a little bit there, but it's all over the place. So that's nice to see. It's not just coming from one source. So yeah, that kept me busy. Character voices, regular explainer videos, investment guides, e-learning, motivational stuff. Had a real good directed session with a writer from the 7 Eagle Group, whom I've done some work for in the past. And it was a really interesting session because I want to say 20s, maybe 30-ish. It was hard to tell. I think in his 20s, a younger writer, and it's really interesting the way it was written. 7 Eagle Group represents veterans to try to get post-service employment, and they do a phenomenal job. Let me get out of this real quick. And so the words were really powerful. It was very patriotic. It was a pitch for the Seven Eagle Group to kind of explain what they were. There's 3 different scripts. And the way I would traditionally deliver it was very bold, very patriotic, American, red, white, and blue. That sort of, dramatic, slow, think about it, see the slow-mo, see the imagery. And I'm thinking, based on the words, that's the route we wanted to go. Well, the perspective of somebody writing that, that's not necessarily what they're hearing based on their exposure to promos and their exposure to, I found this fascinating, their exposure to those kind of words and those sort of images. Patriotism is still powerful, no matter what age group you are. I'm speaking more toward Americans here, or any country really. Patriotism, if you love your country, if you're proud of your military service, if you want to help veterans, that was the whole. From my frame of mind, that's what I was bringing to the read. Well, the writer had just a different angle of approach, and he said, "You mind if we hop on a call?" And I said, "Absolutely." I thought it was just going to be a quick call, and I said, "Hey, why don't we do this?" Because as I talked to him, I understood he was wanting a kind of a more of an everyday guy, an everyman, conversational, non-promo kind of sound, which is very contemporary and very almost expected these days when you're talking. Even if you're talking about a strong emotional thing, it's much less. It's kind of low key like this. It's much less forced and dramatic and cinematic, and it's brought down to a conversational level. It's like you feel it, but you feel it at a level that doesn't mean you have to hype it up and be dramatic about it. And so I jumped on Adobe Audition. I recorded while he was on the phone, and he would direct me on a segment. There were 3 different scripts, and he would direct me and give me his take on it. And I sat back just like fascinated, listening to this. And he was like, "I hope that's okay." It's like, yeah, absolutely, because it challenged me to get out of this pre-formulated read style for that particular kind of script, and allowed me to just bring it down and just inflect certain parts of it in a different way and deliver it. Thank you, Dane, for joining me. Back to the grind. And it was really fascinating to adjust and tinker with that delivery style. And so he'd do his thing, and then I'd go ahead and do my thing, and we got through it in like 15 or 20 minutes and sent it to the client and think they're happy. So they've got the dramatic, strong read, and then they've got the less, just kind of like reading conversationally, but even not with a whole lot of inflection, but just kind of toning it down. So that was a unique experience that I learned a lot from. Old dog, new tricks. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh. Oh, I thought that might get the puppies to come, because I know the highlight of this thing is when the golden retrievers come in. So far, they haven't. Hey, Brandon, I have not forgotten about you. Before I get to that segment about the equipment I use, I want to throw this out there. This was a 15-second commercial I did. I think it had pretty wide exposure. I'm not sure. It was just a quick 15, but it was for a hearing aid company. So this is making the rounds on TV. On a TV near you. What if your hearing aids are 100% invisible and low hassle? What if you could hear clearly and not miss a single moment? I'm here to tell you that hearing aid exists, and you can try it in a free 2-week trial at the ENT Institute. So yeah, if you notice just a little bit of a rasp in there, I think they like that. I gave it to them several ways. Are you looking for it? They wanted kind of like a target audience of a little older, so they liked that. And so, yeah, that was a good fit. And they had several iterations of the script. But in the end, settled on one, thankfully. So, yeah, let me go to this page real quick. I got a question earlier today, and I get this a lot. Let me just go back to my feed real quick. I get this a lot about how this looked, the video you're looking at right now, has a much either crisper or cleaner or vibrant look, and it ain't me, and it ain't the wardrobe. Oh, you know who we have not brought out today? I thought of vibrant, and I immediately thought of now the dogs are barking. Oh, I thought of vibrant, and I thought of kazoo. You know, it's that sharp yellow. It's just beautiful. And they're asking me, okay, how do you get that? Nothing like rolling over your headphone cables. They asked me, how do you get, the soft background, the shallow depth of field look? One of my backlights went out, so I can't really show that. There's normally a green gelled LED light that comes up and lights that background up there and puts a green hue on it. And the LEDs are kind of blurred and everything, and this is in focus, and that's not, and it's right there in front. It's like, literally, it's that close to me, but it's soft focus. Okay, because I get a lot of questions about it, I was going to talk you through real quick what I use, and that is, just got a request to do a project or fix a project. Let me get to this. Get to the right one. Where am I at? That's not right. There we go. So yeah, I set up a list in Amazon of the stuff I use. So quickly I'm going to go through it, and if you want to watch the replay, you can get this somewhere at the 28 minute mark in the video. And the first thing is the camera I use is a Panasonic Lumix G85 4K camera. It is an older camera, but you can still get it, and it's an excellent camera. It's around $700. You can get it on eBay probably for cheaper than that. And the lens that I use that gets that shallow depth of field is the Panasonic Lumix G lens, 25 millimeter f1.7, the f-stop on there. And all that means is those low numbers give you that good separation or that depth of field where you get something in focus here, and then you get a lot of fall off quickly where it's out of focus. So if I were to move up like, I should go full screen with that. I think I will. So if I were to go like, I'm probably out of focus, aren't I? Okay. But if I'm back here, I'm in focus, just like the microphone. So it has a very shallow depth of field where it focuses. And this is on manual focus. If it was on autofocus with that particular lens, then it would track me. The one thing I don't like about the Panasonic or the Panasonic lenses is the fact that the autofocus is kind of slow in my experience. This is so I don't run out of battery power. This is a power adapter that actually hooks into the battery. That's a little fake battery right there that hooks into there. And then you run power directly into it so you never run out of power. And these things are power hogs. So yeah, that was just, it's constant power. So that was a must for a system like that. This little jewel here is called the Elgato Cam Link 4K. And this allows me to run a HDMI signal out of the camera, a mini HDMI that converts to an HDMI and then goes into that end of the Cam Link and comes out the other end as a USB 2. The USB goes into the computer, and then it sees it just like a regular webcam would be seen. So the Cam Link is the little magic device that takes and converts the signal from the DSLR or the I think it's mirrorless or shutterless. I can't remember. I think it's mirrorless camera. And that gets the signal to the Mac. This bad boy, big ring light right there is what I have on the other side of the monitor that I'm looking at right now, right there. And it's on a stand and it's around the camera. And so that's on a light stand. It's not on a tripod. It's on a light stand, so it's lighter to move, and I can adjust it up and down really quick, and it's only on one leg because it's just a light stand. So that is the Halo light, the Halo ring light. Lasts a long time. Various cables. This is the big HDMI to mini HDMI in order to get the signal out. Some cameras, I think they have HDMI. Some have minis and some don't. So make sure if you're going to do it, you get something with some sort of HDMI coming out to do that. I'm not using that tripod right now. Memory card, various things. There's I think that's the GorillaPod. Yeah, the GorillaPod I'm using. So that's another piece that I did have hooked up originally, and there really wasn't a place to put it, so I kind of abandoned that. But I've got it to use if I want to wrap it around something or do something weird, or even do almost like a stick thing where you got it out here. It works for that if I ever want to do that. So I think that's all of the major pieces and parts: the camera, the lens, the power adapter, and the cam link, and the light, and of course some cables. But that honestly makes such a big difference in the quality, and that's kind of what I shared with Brandon. I mentioned the equipment. So Brandon, that was a great question, and it fueled me to kind of share that, because I do get that question asked a lot of how you get a better video signal, and it took a lot of research. I mean, I probably did a year's worth of research. I borrowed a buddy's camera. I played with different models. I tell you what I would do if I had to go back and do it again, and if I ever, and I'm sure I will get a new camera at some point. But the Sony A-series, or one of the nicer, newer, not the multi-$1,000s, but one of the nicer, newer Canon cameras are phenomenal. And the lenses allow you to do more of that quick autofocus stuff. Say, if you were doing something in your studio and you wanted to do that, and you wanted kazoo to be in focus, well, then it would rack focus quickly. The lens would, and the mechanisms in the camera, it would rack focus. But as it is now, I'm going to play with the tool here real quick. I've not done this. I'm going to do this live. I want to see if this actually works. I don't know if it works in this program or not. It worked in the webcam. No, apparently it doesn't. Gary says he moved from the Panasonic to a Sony A6100. I'm glad you told me that, Gary, because I'll probably look into that. Again, I'm not in the market right now for one, but I know after experiencing it and having somebody tell me that the Panasonics are slower with the autofocus, it's just inherent. That's important. If you do get a Panasonic, I cannot stress enough that if you're going to do something where you're just sitting like where I'm sitting and you're just doing your thing and you're not going back and forth and having to bring stuff up to the lens, then get the app. It's called the Image. What's it called? I'm running it right now to set this up. It's called the Panasonic Image app, aptly named. And what it does is it allows you to set the camera on manual focus, but the app lets you sit over here where you obviously can't reach it, and you can set it to autofocus and then find that focus and then adjust it on the scale with the app. Crazy technology. I'm not sure how it works, but ain't it great in this time and day we live in that stuff like that works for us. So it saved me so much effort and frustration. I want to see what Gary has to say. What is that last part? I got screens blocking me. A G7. Yeah, Panasonic G7, yeah. But yeah, Panasonics are amazing quality cameras. I'm taking nothing against them, nothing against them as far as that. It's just the mechanisms that make them focus fast for like video work. Like I said, like it's like, hey, look at this, and it's not going to do it. Or like if you were holding up a handsome pen and you wanted to see that logo, you couldn't see that logo. You couldn't without going back into a program and manually focusing and playing with it, and that's not efficient. So yeah, that's the list of stuff: the camera, the lights. And of course the Cam Link. And to make this stuff come together, I use Ecamm for the Mac to bring on elements such as the websites and video clips, and I did a split screen with a a FaceTime call. It was last week, my daughter's birthday, and she was in Colorado, and I wanted to tell her happy birthday, so I did it live, and I didn't know didn't know if it was going to work. It worked. Did a split screen of me over here in the studio and her FaceTiming me live through the phone, which was connected into Shameless. Look at that. He's got a sticker on the back of his phone. What's that website? TroyWHudson.com. It's hooked up through a data cable, just like you would charge it, and it's going into a USB extender, which is going into the Mac Mini, or actually into the port, which is then going into the Mac Mini. So that allows me to get the phone in there. So there's multiple ways to get it. You can use a webcam as an additional camera, in addition to the DSLR cameras. So lots of different options. I hope that helps somebody. Yeah, you know what? It's 5:36. It's just about time for me to get out of here, but I'm not really going away for long. That's right, Kazoo, because at 6 o'clock, I'm going live on my personal Facebook and on my YouTube channel with this. That's right, it's Story Time with Troy. This week's story is Scuffy the Tugboat. This is an oldie but a goodie. My kids really enjoyed this. And, yep, it came from Chick-fil-A. It's a little golden book, if you remember those. Delightful story of Scuffy's adventures down the old river. 1946, it was copyright. I don't know if I'll read it like this. Probably not. It might freak the kids out. But nonetheless, it harkens to days of yore. Well, not mine, but somebody's. That would be pretty old about now. But yeah, that's about all I got. You guys, thank you for chiming in. Thank you for making this an interactive experience this time. I try my best to stay on on track here. But I think I got to everything. No, I didn't get to everything, but I'm gonna be done with this. So you guys, be blessed, be a blessing. I'm trying to find my closing graphic as I'm talking, and I can't find it. Oh, it's there somewhere. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Come on, where's it at? That's the opening. That's not the closing. Where's the closing? Where's the closing? Where's the closing? No, that's a yield sign. That's a yield sign. Get it off. Whew, wow. Where did that come from? No, that's not it. Oh, where did it go? Where did it go? Where's the closing? The closing is... Oh, there it is. Okay, I found it. Thanks for joining me. You guys be blessed, be a blessing. Have a great week and be safe. God.
Just pump and be good. Just pump and be good. Well, I'm just pumpkin picker and I picked a crop or two. When I'm chipping pumpkins, only think about you. You are my pumpkin baby. You are my pumpkin pie. Playground, I sure done trouble over you. Well, I'm just a pumpkin picker and I sure done trouble over you. Just pumpkin picker. Just pumpkin.